The cafe's bell jingled each time someone entered, releasing bursts of cold air that swept across the cozy room. Lily, despite the chill seeping through the windows, kept her warm smile steady. She'd been working at Maplewood Cafe for 3 years now, juggling 2 jobs, saving every cent for her younger brother's college fund. But no matter how tired she felt, she made sure every customer left with a little more warmth than they came in with. That's why the old man caught her attention. He sat tucked away in the corner, shoulders hunched beneath a threadbare coat, his hands trembling as he unfolded the worn menu. He didn't order right away, just stared at the list of items, his lips moving as if calculating. Lily noticed his shoes, cracked leather, the soles nearly gone. Something in her heart tugged. When she approached, she crouched slightly, so her tone wouldn't feel rushed or formal. "Take your time, sir. Would you like some water while you decide?" He looked up, eyes glistening. "Just coffee, please. I don't have much of an appetite these days." She nodded softly and turned toward the counter. As she filled the cup, she overheard faint clinks, the unmistakable sound of coins being counted and recounted. Her chest tightened. He didn't have enough. Without hesitation, Lily slipped a few bills from her apron pocket and quietly told the cashier, "Add his to mine." "Don't say anything." When she returned with the steaming mug, the man tried to hand her a handful of change. "I think I'm short," he mumbled, cheeks reddening. Lily shook her head lightly. "Coffee's on the house today. You can pay it forward sometime, okay?" For a moment, he just stared at her. His lips parted as if to argue, but the kindness in her eyes stopped him. "You're very kind, miss," he finally whispered. She smiled. "Just doing my job." But that wasn't true, and he could tell. As she walked away, he studied her, the way she offered genuine smiles to everyone, how she brought extra napkins before anyone asked, how she crouched to talk to a crying child at the next table. As weeks passed, Clara and Max became fixtures in Ethan and Lily's lives. What began as a mistaken hire had turned into something far more meaningful. Every Wednesday, Ethan found himself listening from the hallway, pretending to check emails while his daughter played under Clara's gentle instruction. He noticed the way Clara praised Lily's smallest victories, how she never scolded when Lily made a mistake but instead encouraged her to try again, but this time, with your heart. It wasn't just Lily who blossomed. Max, shy at first, began running into the house with a grin, his sketchbook tucked under his arm. While Clara and Lily worked on piano scales, Max sprawled on the rug with crayons, proudly showing Ethan his superheroes. Ethan, who rarely had time for anyone outside of work and Lily, found himself sitting on the floor beside the boy, asking questions, admiring his art. One rainy evening, the bond between them all deepened. Lily had been struggling with a difficult piece, her small fingers fumbling on the keys until her frustration boiled over. Tears welled in her eyes. Ethan started to intervene, ready to suggest ending the lesson early, but Clara stopped him with a shake of her head. She knelt beside Lily and spoke softly, her voice carrying a warmth that filled the room. "Do you know something?" Clara said. "Music isn't about being perfect. It's about telling a story. Think of your mom. She loved music, didn't she? Then play this piece for her. Play it with all the love you feel." Ethan's breath caught. Lily's lip trembled, but she pressed the keys again, hesitant at first, then with a fragile courage. The notes weren't flawless, but the melody was raw, aching, beautiful. Ethan found himself gripping the back of a chair, his throat tight, watching his daughter channel her grief into music for the first time. When the piece ended, Lily threw her arms around Clara, whispering, "Thank you." Clara hugged her gently, her eyes shimmering with unspoken emotion. Ethan realized Clara wasn't just teaching music, she was helping heal wounds that he, with all his power and wealth, hadn't been able to mend. Later, when the children ran off to play, Ethan finally admitted, his voice low, "You weren't supposed to be here. But now, I can't imagine Wednesdays without you." Clara smiled, brushing her damp hair behind her ear. "Sometimes the wrong paths bring us exactly where we're meant to be." And in that quiet moment, Ethan knew, this accidental encounter was no accident at all. Months passed, and Harbor of Hope Cafe became more than just a local favorite, it became a symbol of second chances. Newspapers wrote stories about it, calling Lily, the waitress with a billionaire's heart. But to Lily, the real success wasn't the headlines, it was the way people's faces softened when they stepped inside. The cafe smelled like fresh coffee and cinnamon, and laughter replaced the silence that once haunted its corners. She hired single mothers, retired veterans, and young students who needed part-time work. Every evening, the leftover pastries went to the homeless shelter down the street. What amazed everyone most was that despite running on donations, the cafe never ran out of resources. Money seemed to find its way back, quietly, steadily, through envelopes left under cups, anonymous transfers, and strangers who insisted on paying extra. One crisp autumn morning, Lily received an invitation, a gold-trimmed card that looked almost identical to the letter Harold had once sent her. It was an invitation to the Bennett Foundation's annual gala, a grand event known for honoring people who made a difference in their communities. She was hesitant at first. She wasn't used to glittering chandeliers or gowns. But something told her to go. When she arrived, the hall shimmered with elegance. Powerful CEOs, celebrities, and politicians filled the room. She felt small in her simple blue dress, until she saw him. Harold Bennett stood on stage, healthy and smiling, addressing the crowd. "There are many kinds of wealth," he said into the microphone. "Some build empires, others build hearts. Tonight, we honor someone who reminded me what real success looks like." Lily froze. The spotlight turned toward her. "Miss Lily Evans," Harold continued, "you gave when you had nothing. You created hope when others saw struggle. For that, we are proud to name you the Bennett Foundation's Humanitarian of the Year." Applause erupted as she walked to the stage, tears blurring her vision. Harold handed her a crystal plaque and whispered, "You've done more with that gift than I ever dreamed." She smiled through tears. "You gave me a chance. I just passed it on." That night, as flashbulbs sparkled around her, Lily realized something profound. Her act of kindness had not just changed her life. It had sparked a movement, proving that compassion, once given, never stops growing. After the gala, life didn't slow down for Lily. It blossomed into something even more meaningful. Donations flooded in from across the country, inspired by her story. But instead of using the attention to build fame or fortune, she stayed true to her roots. She expanded Harbor of Hope into 3 more cafes across the city, each run by people who had once been struggling just like her. The walls of every location were painted with the same quote, "Kindness is the wealth that never runs out." Despite the success, Lily never forgot where she came from. Every morning, she still brewed the first pot of coffee herself. She still greeted customers by name, laughed with the baristas, and sat with strangers who looked like they needed company. The cafe had become more than a business, it was a home. One quiet afternoon, Harold Bennett returned, this time walking a little slower but looking healthier than before. He sat at his old table by the window, and Lily hurried over, her face lighting up. "Back to check if I'm keeping up with your investment?" she teased playfully. Harold chuckled. "No, my dear, I came to tell you that you became the investor, the kind who invests in people." He looked around the bustling cafe, his eyes warm. "You've done more for this city than I ever could with all my billions." She sat across from him, touched. "You started it," she said softly. "You believed in me before I did." He nodded. "Maybe, but it was your heart that built this." For a long moment, they sat quietly, watching the world outside, the same rain that once brought them together now falling softly against the window. Then Harold reached into his pocket and slid an envelope across the table. Inside was a deed, to the building that housed her first cafe. "You no longer pay rent," he said simply. "It's yours. Consider it my last business deal." Tears filled her eyes. "Harold, I don't know how to thank you." He smiled faintly. "Keep doing what you're doing. That's thanks enough." As he left, Lily stood in the doorway, the rain misting her hair. She realized the old man she'd once helped had not only changed her life, he had become her greatest friend and teacher. That night, she placed a new sign above the counter. "One small act of kindness can change the world, just like a cup of coffee did."